America's Voice brings you CPAC 2019.
And welcome back to America's Voice News. I'm Dave Sussman, and I am delighted to be sitting at CPAC with Mark McKinnon. Mark McKinnon, you probably know him very well from Showtime series The Circus, and the advisor to George W. Bush, if I understand correctly, and 5 presidential campaigns, including primaries and actual elections, all 5 winners. Right?
I've been lucky to work with great candidates, people like George W. Bush, John McCain, fabulous people.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that. It's not that long ago, but it seems so long ago in politics, right? The McCains and the Bushes of the world.
A lifetime ago, centuries ago.
Yeah. So let's first talk about The Circus. I got to tell you, I watched all of season 1 as quickly as I could. I was just absorbed.
You were out there too.
I was absorbed. It was like crack. Okay, I couldn't get enough, and this is the show on Showtime where you guys go behind the scenes of different campaigns during the primaries leading up, and now you guys are focused obviously on the administration.
Well, yeah, the fascinating thing was it was designed to be about the campaign, and we thought we'd be one and done, and then 1 week into the administration, the suits at Showtime said, oh my God, get back out there because it's such a fascinating time for everybody across the political spectrum. You know, we're having like a civics lesson about politics in this country, and so the show has been exceeded our wildest expectations. We're now in season 4 and looking forward to season 5 next year for the campaign.
That's incredible. Yeah, I watched it. I felt like a fly on the wall.
Well, that's the design. We try to be a fly on the wall. We try and go to places other people don't go, and it's full documentary style. Except we do in a week what most people do in months, if not a year.
Now, you created the concept, I understand.
Yeah, I did.
So how did this come up?
Well, I've done a ton of campaigns. I love campaigns. I think they're. I love the people who do campaigns in addition to the candidates, their families, the advisors. There's just an orbit of people that I find fascinating and entertaining, and I thought if we could get back there and show it in documentary style, that it would be not only entertaining but educational as well. It's a noble pursuit. I love politics. I appreciate that people run for office. I would never do it.
Yeah.
But the idea is to show a little more dimension and context for these candidates. For example, Mitt Romney, there was a great documentary about him called Mitt that showed after the election, and I saw
it was
that
on Netflix. I saw that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I saw that and said, man, if more people had seen that, he'd got a lot more votes.
Yeah.
I said, where was that guy doing the campaign? So our show's designed to show that side of candidates, just show a more human side.
Right. Now, there's 3 of you. The first couple of seasons, it was Mark Halperin, yourself, and John Heilemann.
Correct.
John is over with NBC or MSNBC?
MSNBC.
Okay.
Yeah. Alex Wagner's
CBS, now with you.
She's a
CBS.
Yeah.
So you're kind of the right of center perspective on the show?
Yeah, for sure. I'm the conservative, I'm the Republican, I'm the Bush guy.
The lone voice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty documentary style. We try and reflect everything that's out there, try and reflect all the voices in the spectrum.
Yeah.
And, it's my intent is to really put a mirror up to the whole thing and just reflect what's going on.
I think one of the most memorable episodes was obviously the election episode in 2016. And you had John Heilemann, who showed up at the Javits Center. Can I just get a perspective from you, just behind the scenes, a little bit of gossip? I won't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Okay? How disappointed was John that night? Because he looked so sad.
He was suicidal. Yeah, no, he's a radical guy. I got to keep him in his place. But John's a big talent, and he has strong opinions, and so do I. And that's kind of the beauty of the show, is that we try and show both perspectives and everything from left to right and down the middle. But just try and show it all. But
how shocked were you as the lone conservative on that show with the election?
Well, I was as shocked as who? Donald Trump. Donald Trump was surprised. But I was at Trump headquarters that night.
Yeah.
And it was like a morgue until about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, people were drinking heavily.
Yeah.
There weren't very many people.
It didn't look
good.
Virginia was going the wrong way.
Terrible.
Everything else was too close.
And it was the most dramatic surprise in history.
Yeah.
By far, easily.
Yeah. So let's talk about now. Okay.
Sure.
So you're going into season 4. You guys are focused very much now on the micro of the administration, all the different issues, the outrage of the day, if you were, relating to into that. What are you seeing right now with the administration from your perspective and also from the show's perspective?
Well, this is an interesting week. What we're finding is that there's huge division in the country, huge polarization. It's fascinating. With as much as the media and Democrats on the left attack Donald Trump, he's got the highest support in the Republican Party of like any president ever.
Yeah.
Except for maybe George Bush right after 9/11.
Right.
But his in-party support is at like 96%. And so his idea, you remember when he said he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and support it?
Yeah,
it's pretty true. And this week's been a good example of that. So we had Michael Cohen come out and testify and say some pretty incredible things. And so part of what I'm interested to hear here at CPAC is to see if that's affected anybody's opinion about the president. And so far as I can tell, not a bit.
No.
So.
No, and that's, I mean, is he Teflon? Is it, or is it just we, or when I say we,
well,
everybody in this room, it's somewhat of an echo chamber, sees the media for what they are and how news is reported today?
Well, listen, part of it, I think, is that it started with, he's a disruptor at his core, and that's what people voted for him. They don't care if they're with him on this issue or that issue, or he did this with a woman or whatever. I mean, that's not why they voted for him. They didn't vote for him because they thought he was a Boy Scout. They said, I voted for this guy because he was going to Washington and shake things up. And that's what he's doing. So if you voted for the guy to shake things up, you're not going to see one thing one week and say, "Oh, I'm disappointed that the wall didn't come through."
Okay.
They're just happy he's out there, jamming on the wall.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a fascinating evolution in our politics that we have a point where it's people are devoted to this guy because of the fact that he said he'd come in and throw some bombs, and that's exactly what he's doing.
So on the other side, you've got somewhat of a level of Trump derangement, okay? And you have that even on some people on the right, establishment types on the right, to a certain extent. They call themselves Trump skeptics, not never Trumpers anymore. But obviously, we're now starting to see a burgeoning increase in the leftist activism, which is now resulting in, I don't know how many candidates we have now throwing their hat in the ring on the left. Are you guys going to start following those individuals? The Kamala Harrises, the Bernies of the world?
Already have, and
okay.
And it's really interesting because you can see now how a few months ago you kind of looked at the landscape and said, boy, this guy's really vulnerable, and just with a couple of months of Democratic candidate activity, you go, I don't know, you'd think nobody could screw this up, but the Democrats could screw this up.
But as a political advisor, you've seen this before. They are screwing it up, but it's probably the best time for them to screw it up. I look at the bottom of the valley is 2019 early.
Yes,
okay,
no question.
And people don't start paying attention, especially people not like us that are out there not focused on this stuff until after Labor Day 2020.
No question. And my view about that is, my advice and what you want to do as a Democratic candidate is not break fast, break last. Right? Because when they're really going to get the attention is not today, not in August. It's going to be next January, February. So to your point, if you're a strategist on their side, you say, get the wacko out early, get the crazy out early.
Yeah.
But there is a dynamics in the party that makes you say that, the way that the party's headed on some of the New Green Deal and some of the socialist stuff really creates an opening and an opportunity. And when I saw the president give his State of the Union speech when he brought that up, that's when I said, I see a reelection message here that could work.
That was an incredible speech, and I literally thought he saved his presidency. If it was, not that it needed saving, but it probably brought a lot of people back into the fold. Now, who on the left, and I know it's really early, but who on the left do you think is truly dangerous towards Donald Trump right now?
Well, I look at it strategically, and so I think, who's not the best primary candidate, but who would be the best general election candidate, and to me, that's going to be somebody who has a greater appeal to Middle America. Somebody like Governor Bullock, Montana. Somebody like
Is he in the?
No, not yet, but he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. And John Hickenlooper of Colorado.
Yes.
These guys are very centrist. Have a very broad appeal.
Yes.
They're business people. Somebody that is not a typical sort of Democratic. Come from the Bernie. Sanders
a lot of people
wing.
say that about Biden. They just question his age.
Biden would be good. Biden, listen, I think that Biden would be a very good general election candidate. I think it's, and I just think he's of a generation. It's going to be hard for him to run now today. It's just because of the media attention, and I'm worried that he just doesn't have the chops.
But do you think the primary voters are going to vote for a centrist?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's his problem. I don't think they are. I think that the physics of the Democratic primary have moved even further left, which makes it harder for a guy
you get a
like Biden.
Kamala or a Warren or any one of the, you're looking at there. What are you looking at in a general with Donald Trump against a leftist like that?
Well, if they're smart at all, they're going to attack hard, fast, right after that election, put somebody like Hickenlooper or, somebody like that on the ticket, and try and find a message appeal.
But you think they could win? You think that with the DNC delegates, the way that they work, they seem to anoint their their general election candidates.
They've changed a lot of the rules with
How
the
so?
delegates. They don't have as many super delegates anymore.
Okay, so
plus they don't have any front runner that they're all going to be wed to.
So Hillary wouldn't happen in 2020 like she did over.
Yeah. They've changed a lot of the rules on the delegates, super delegate side.
Okay.
So as I understand it, there's not as many super delegates.
Okay. So you're in season 4 right now. You're focused on the day-to-day White House drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The great thing about what
palace intrigue.
What makes good drama? Interesting characters, conflict, and surprise.
Yeah.
Every
day,
day, right?
Every single day.
Nelson, I'll be the first to say Donald Trump has been the best thing that's happened for all of us, right? For
it's
anybody
incredible.
in the media.
Yeah, you've never seen
including
anything
CNN
like this.
and
You've never seen
nothing
anything like this.
close.
You go back years.
If I'd pitched this to Showtime as a fiction, they would have thrown me out. They said, "Get out of here."
Right. Why did Showtime? How did that happen?
It's a long story. We were at a lot of other platforms first. There was a lot of interest. There was just skepticism that we could turn it as quickly as we do. Because we create a documentary in a week.
Right.
And most of those television executives said, now wait a minute, you're telling me I'm going to see the show that airs Sunday night, Sunday morning? I don't think so. They were like, that scared the hell out of them.
Yeah. No, it is almost real time going up to the day
It's
off.
a high wire act, and I can't tell you how many times there's been a Sunday we're like,
Yeah, how many times have you guys had it in the can, ready to go, and it was a brand new issue that you...
with this president, I mean, almost every other week. We're like completely redoing the show every Friday.
So the stress level is ridiculous.
My God, completely. It's stress level is more than a presidential campaign.
That's amazing. So you guys are obviously looking at season 5 with the campaign.
Yeah, season 5 will be
election.
The campaign. Yeah, back to our original.
That's going to be must-see TV.
It's going to make the circus look like a zoo.
Wow. You enjoying working with Alex Wagner and John?
Great. They're great partners. They're super smart. They're fun to work with, and they totally get the concept of the show, and they work their asses off, which you have to do this show. Right.
All right. So we are last question for you, and I just want to say first and foremost, folks, if you're not watching The Circus, it's definitely must-see TV. You need to get it on Showtime. Unfortunately, it's the only place we can watch it, right? You can't find it anywhere else.
No, that's true.
Okay.
Well, no, you can get it on some of the Roku and some of the other platforms.
On Showtime.
Yeah, on
Showtime on Roku.
That's
right.
Yeah. But I will say that The Circus, I think, is the best name in media politics. But whiskey is. Your show's got the second best name.
We need to have a drink of whiskey next time we sit down.
Before that.
I can't sit down with a cowboy and not drink whiskey.
We do a lot of
bourbon, single malt. What's your favorite?
I'm a Maker's Mark man.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
46 right here.
Standby, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah. I'm a Manhattan man too.
Mark McKinnon, thank you so much. Watch The Circus, and folks, we're going to be heading it over to Armando. And thanks for joining us. Dave Sussman signing off here at America's Voice News.